Hey everyone, welcome back to another custom model showcase by yours truly. Today's custom showcase shall be on my updated Trackmaster Black James. So let's take a look at him. And I think you're asking, this is your custom Black James? Doesn't look like it's yours at all. It is mine. It's just a new way of making customs. Now, for those of you who don't know, I've been making customs ever since, I think before I even had a channel. They evolved since then. And I think this one is the future, as well as my brown LBSC Thomas. And to be honest, I'm probably going to use this shelf for the LBSC Thomas. Another LBSC Thomas that I'm working on. So, let's get on to the James model that I made. So, I think some of you are also asking, wait, you made another James? Haven't you already made a James? Actually, I have. It's right here. Well, yeah, this one I'm not really too proud of. I mean, I'm proud of the paintwork that I gave to him. But when you look at him like that, when have you ever seen James look like that before? I mean, he looks like he had too many cupcakes and didn't take any medicine for fatness. So I replaced it with this James model that I made. So let's get into him. So this James was made from a original Tommy James that you might have actually seen before in Soto Shorts. It was the old Soto Shorts version of James, the one with the broken wires. It had a broken wire, so I took it apart through the paint, but it accidentally broke the wire still. Now the wire's completely broken, so I decided to unwire the entire thing. So now it doesn't run anymore. But I'm actually pretty interested with the technology that I gave it. So, after that, I got to work. So the body was painted in a black, well, I think it was a jet black or something, but no, a regular non-glossy black. Obviously. What I did next was I then painted the footplate in gray, as well as the lining in red from the tender to the engine itself. Right after that, I then got to work. So this part of the smoke box was broken, so I took it off, I think. But I re-glued it with tacky glue. Yes, I now use tacky glue for my customs. Which is actually a pretty good method. After that, I then gave it weathering powder on the boiler and on the tender. And let's talk about the coal I gave to the tender right here. Now, if you guys have seen Trackside Studios 06's custom of Alec Grady, you might know that he did the same method as me. Well, he was the first one to do this method. But what he really did was he just used dirt for the coal. So I decided to just try the method out myself, but express it a little more, but update it a little more. I meant that. Anyways, I used cardboard from a paintbrush kit, and then used tacky glue, as well as real dirt from outside, and glued it onto the cardboard, which later I added a second layer, and then spray painted it in black. after that was done, I took it back, sprayed it with a clear coat, and it was done. After that, I sprayed the entire thing with a clear coat, well, the engine itself, and now it is done. And if you're probably wondering why it doesn't look like I sprayed it with a clear coat, it's easy. Now for the customs that I add weathering to, I use a matte clear coat for them. You might remember that method because Trainmania 19 used it too. So, like you can see right now, no decals for him. And I'm actually kind of glad. So, I painted the entire model true, as well as the undercarriage, the back of the cab, and I avoided the windows for them too. For him too. One interesting thing that I did too was I actually left the actual tender coupling on. Now, I actually wanted to make this thing a detachable tender coupling, but it was too long, so I swapped it out with the original wire. With the original connector. When that was finished, I then put the entire model together, and here we have the full LB, full Trackmaster Tomy Black James. This thing was epic to make. A whole lot of fun to make too. I mean, I enjoyed this the best of all. I mean, I think I'm the most proud of this one, especially since I added a matte clear coat and backlining onto the tender. This one rules out of all of the customs I ever made. I mean, seriously. Out of every other custom, this one just takes the mark. As well as my Trackmaster LBSC Thomas. You can tell by that it's a masterpiece-like. Now, I did have a bit of trouble with the lining on the tender since it's not traceable or molded onto the tender itself because it was molded onto the engine itself. The lining was molded onto the engine as well as the handrails. But I think out of all of them, some customs are the best. Oh, some customs are the best. These two are the best. These two are the greatest. Now, I'm actually thinking about it, and I decided that from now on, when I made a custom that was actually Trackmaster 2 made, I'm gonna think of redoing them, as in really redoing them. Now, Trackmaster 2s, just Trackmaster 1s for the overhauls and then new looks. I'm gonna go straight forward on them all. And make Marcy into a real class. Now, I'm still thinking of making her into an LNER B4 or something. But, yeah, I don't know if she's going to be a tender engine or a tank engine or just a diesel, but maybe not a diesel. But, yeah, a tender engine would be a better class. I mean, I just made her out of a James and a Rebecca tender. But I'm going all out on all of them, starting with these two. These two are the first ones to be done out. So, that's it for this video. Thank you all for watching this video on my custom Black James. This was a blast to make. Be sure to like and subscribe into the comments, and just be sure to stick around for my next videos. I have got a ton of them. Yeah. And it is actually my first custom I ever used this is actually the first custom that I ever use a matte clear coat, so that's good. So, thanks for watching, and see you next time for the next custom spotlight.